game, and then we'll take it for questions.
Well, again, just excited about having a chance to play on March the 30th. As I said many times, that's what we're supposed to do. And I'm excited for these young ladies. They've worked awfully hard, put themselves in this position. They have the opportunity to play at home in front of our crowd, which has been sensational here the last couple of weeks, really all year, but obviously the last couple of weeks has been really special. It's really a special thing for these young ladies, and I'm really happy for them because, again, they worked extremely hard to put themselves in this position. We certainly have a formidable opponent in South Florida. Again, I'm not sure what we all did to be on this side of the bracket, but it sure seems heavy. And every night we seem to get somebody that's really good and quite frankly could easily be in the NCAA tournament. So I know their coach, Jose, very well. He's lived in the Big East at South Florida for many years. He's Connecticut, Rutgers, Louisville, those are teams that he's very familiar with and having to deal with year in and year out, much like we have to deal with the Tennessees and the Connecticut's and the A&M's and those folks. So they're talented, and they are certainly impressive on film.
What first impressions or second impressions or third impressions?
I tell you that they do a good job in how hard they play on offense. We always talk about how hard we play on defense. His 2 and 3 go as hard off screens as anybody I've ever seen. Orakova's really good. I mean, she sprints off screens. It'll be unique for our kids because we haven't guarded anybody like her. She's got size. She's got tremendous range. She shoots 40% from 3. A confident kid. They run a lot of stuff for their 2 and 3. Not a lot of stuff for the inside people, which will thrill Martha. But she's still got to block out because their bigs understand what they're doing. And I think their mentality is, okay, they're not running a lot for me, so I got to go get my shots. So they act like I try to tell our bigs, hey, act like that's a pass to you on a rebound. Go get it. And so they do a tremendous job of shooting a basketball from the perimeter, running and setting good screens for their 2s and 3s, and then those 4s and 5s go get it. So
I know you're working on building the program just as a team, and also the fan, trying to get that atmosphere created. But what does it say about being able to host a fourth game in a row here in the WNIT?
Well, I think our crowd and our administration are responsible for that, and then the team obviously wins. They're doing their part. So, but it's based at this point in time. It's based on who's drawing. UTEP's averaging in the 4,000s, and there's another team maybe in the 2,500, 2,800, 3,000 range. But I posed that question this morning to Renee Carlson of the WNIT. Where are we stacking up? And obviously, in these first 4 ball games, we've stacked up well. And so, again, we're doing our part. The kids are doing their part winning. You're not going to play if you don't win in advance. We're now in the Elite 8. There's 3 games left. You're halfway there. So I think they can taste it a little bit.
You said Coach Fernandez. He's been there 14 years, postseason 10 of the past 11 seasons. Excuse me. How well do you know him? What do you know about his program? How he's built it?
Well, I know him pretty well. In fact, we sat and visited a long time this past summer, and actually had plans to meet in New Orleans at that event and maybe go a day early and fish together. He likes to fish, so we have a common topic outside of basketball when we're visiting. But he took over that program 14 years ago and really turned it around quick. They originally were in the Sun Belt, and that's many, many years ago, and then they've lived in the Big East for a long time. So tremendous recruiter, and he's got some great players playing for him right now. They won 9 of their last 10. Their only loss is to Louisville in the American tournament. So, and they lost to them by 4. So they're playing well, extremely well. Johnny and I were talking about this morning. I'm not sure why they're not in the NCAA tournament. And I think they've got a little bit of an edge to them right now, much like Southern Miss, in that they feel like they should be. If you look at their North Carolina A&T game, looks like they got a little hangover from that. Maybe just kind of not quite there, kind of still stewing over it. After that, they're off. They've been playing well, so we've got our hands full.
Parker, talk about the way you've been playing lately, 2 straight double-doubles, but I get a sense maybe that you want to take it to another level maybe. Just kind of give me your thoughts on what you're doing right now, what you hope to do.
The double doubles are good, but like yesterday, offensively wise, like I didn't play as well as I should have. I think they held me like to 4 points in the first half, so that's not okay. And I got a lot of my shots blocked and stuff, so I need to work on different moves and stuff.
JJ, can you talk a little bit about, the growth of the program? Coach has said he wants to be a top 25 program, and it's not about getting to the postseason 1 year and then next year falling off. It's about staying the course. How do you think that you guys have reached the point where you have the chance to do that now?
It came quick. It actually came sooner than I thought. Them coming in as a new staff, we had new players that had to mix with us. I was thinking it was going to take a couple of years. But obviously, we're on year 2 now, and we reached the expectations we had at the beginning of the season, not even last year. So the growth of the program is on a great start. I'm just glad I'm able to experience it for not 1 year, but 2 years. And with the ones coming in, I'll be more than happy to do the same thing over again. Like you say, we want to be in postseason from here on out, not just, this year and then fall off.
Why do you think it's come faster?
The mindset of the team, we want it. Everyone want it. They believed in us, we believe in ourselves. And just feeding off the coaching staff energy, it's become something great. So as long as the team want it, as long as we want to win, I believe we're going to do so.
Coach, you talk about challenging Martha at halftime, and she gives you great second halves and things like after you do that. Just talk a little bit more about what you see in her going from first half to second half, and the second half, it makes it seem like she plays better sometimes.
Well, I think our whole team has struggled in the first half to take a little bit off of Martha. Martha's still, it's hard to be Martha in terms of the expectations on her that have come on so fast. 2 years ago, she's averaging 5 points a game. She's trying to find her way on a senior-laden team. And last year, she's obviously kind of the focal point, leading, just all of a sudden just thrust into that role of being the focal point, leading scorer, leading rebounder on a team that's really, like JJ says, has got a new staff trying to impart our ways, our will on them, how we think they can play and we want them to play. And she comes to second team all conference, and now here she is now. It's year 2 with us, 3 in her college career, and again, we make no apologies for what we demand of these young ladies. We demand a lot from her. We ask a lot from her. And sometimes as a young person, if it's not been the way it's always been in your career, it can be a little bit of an adjustment. And, I get on our guards all the time. Throw Martha, that was one of the focal points last night on the board. Throw Martha the ball. We turn her down more times than we give her the ball a lot of times. Now, Martha knows that a lot of times we'll give her the ball and she turns into a pretzel sometimes and doesn't go up tough and square up like we like her to. But Martha makes a lot of unorthodox shots too. And so, that being said, I just think that she's still developing. I said this about Bree the other day, I think Martha still has a top end that's nowhere in sight. If she wants to do that, if that's really a focal point in her life and in her basketball career, I think she's got a tremendous upside. But she's certainly done a lot for us in 2 years and come a long, long way. Long way.
You just heard what JJ said about maybe coming a little bit faster. The other day, Brianna had a comment that she's bought into the offensive and defensive styles that you and the coaches have installed. Do you have any sense of if it was gonna be faster or slower, and how the kids were gonna, buy in, come together, however you want to say it.
Well, again, I think you see flashes of things throughout the course of time, starting back to last year. And throughout this whole, if you want to call it a process or the 2 years, but you just see, you keep asking kids to change and try. Again, it's that comfortable thing. When you're comfortable with something, it's hard to imagine yourself doing something different that you've never done before. And you got these people trying to get you to do that, and you're just not comfortable with it. And it's, once I think they step outside of their comfort level and realize what they're capable of doing, I think it just opens up a whole new world to them. JJ is a prime example. She is absolutely 100% in that mold. I mean, she's really bought in and started trusting and doing some things. I mean, she's been involved in a lot of turnovers on the press. Not something I don't think she was comfortable with. Last night she has 1 turnover against the press. Again, she struggled at times earlier in her career with us, but hey, I'm telling you, if we had to run a play right now for a 3, I might run it for JJ. She's shooting the ball as good as anybody on our team in the last month and a half. And so she's just growing up and maturing, and she's enjoying the game because her skill set's it's come around a little bit and gotten better too. She's worked at it. Coaches have worked with her. And a lot of times with young people, it's just a mindset. And I think, again, as she said, our staff, myself, I walked in the office yesterday whistling, singing. Aqua says, "What's that about?" I said, "I got 10 hours of sleep." She goes, "Really?" I go, "Hey, I'm ready to play. I've got a lot of confidence in what we're fixing to do." And I did. Now, that was quickly stymied in the first 5 minutes of the game last night when we screwed up the very first play on the tip, and we didn't handle that properly. But the thing that's really rewarding is that you see this in these young people, and you just know, man, they're getting it, and they're having fun doing it. They got a confidence to them, an edge to them. And for me, I know that this is going to really be, it's going to really be a stepping stone for them when they're done playing. They're going to be great professionals in the workplace. We talk about all the time, you want to work out front in the cubicle, or you want to work in the corner office with a window view. And I think these young ladies are going to all have that opportunity. And I think that's what happens when you step outside of your comfort level and you realize there's a whole new level that you can go to. And I think both these young ladies have done that.
Martha, obviously, you probably, you still want some games left to play this year, but how much does this postseason run kind of help, going into next year, just the confidence that y'all have automatically next year?
I think it gives us a lot of confidence. Like, before the season even started in the off season or whatever, like when we're doing conditioning and stuff, coaches are telling us, like, what we do now is preparing us for, like, February and March and all that stuff. And it's really hard, like, at that moment, like, to trust in it because, like, we've never, like, been like where we're at now. So like having us like buy into what they're saying and stuff, like we know that we can get to the championship game or whatever, and then like next year with the new players we have, like I think we're going to be so much better. Like the 5 that are coming in, like they're so good and they've had such good careers, and with them I think we're going to go really far as long as they buy into the program too.
And maybe Sam Houston State's not fair, maybe it's not fair to include that in there, but you've been at Arkansas and Texas A&M as well, and not here. Can you talk a little bit about the challenge to build a program that's a perennial top 25, perennial NCAA tournament, and maybe how close this team has kind of come to fitting that mold?
Well, I think Sam Houston's fair in that when I inherited that program, there were 3 kids on the team, and I got the job a month after signing date. So it was a huge rebuilding. And it was my first job coaching women's basketball in 1990. That's a long time ago. Were y'all any more than? No. So, but hey, I always talk about the blueprint. After 2 years, after the first year, we were ahead of the curve. After 2 years, we're absolutely ahead of the blueprint that I have. And so, again, you got to give these young ladies credit for what they've done and been able to accomplish, but